associated with the same night say goodbye?
Right, yeah. So I didn't know the Blue Jay side very well, aside from a lot of the staff. I got to know the minor league side really well, like way too well. But I say that tongue in cheek. They took such good care of me. I had a really great experience down there. The health and performance staff was great. The coaching staff at all the levels. It just made me feel like I was welcome from the get-go, and I was also listened to. Not that I speak much, but they just took great care of me. So to be able to come to the stadium, be able to say hello and catch up with some of my long time friends is really cool. I had to hustle in from Buffalo, and good thing I caught it. Good thing I caught it. So, yeah, I was intending on watching the game, but I had some car issues.
So you made the Instagram right in Buffalo, and then hopped in a car to come here.
Yes. And I thought it was appropriate because it was my, I was not waxing and waning, but I had moments where I was, is this the right thing to do? And do I want the organization to tell me that I'm done? And I just decided, you've played long enough. You can interpret, what's going on. And I was awful. I was awful down there. And the trend was not fast enough. And I didn't feel at any point in time like I was anywhere near Major League ready. And I can say to the very last pitch I was giving my very all, but there's an end for all athletes. Time is undefeated, as they say. And I can say with pride that I did the game. I did this baseball thing. I tried to do it with the what I was given, and using the guidance from the people who have instructed me and the people I've played with in my competition. So I have zero regrets, and I'm not regretful, but I'm saddened, genuinely saddened. I'm going to be a one team guy when it's all said and done. Now I'm going to be a Cincinnati Red, career Cincinnati Red. But I to the Reds fans, I wanted to play a year in Toronto at home in front of family, in front of my country, and it was one of those things where I to the Toronto fans, I desperately wanted to participate in games here and to be able to, I've got kids at I still train at the same facility as when I was 13 years old. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Sorry you wasted a trip.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, to the same facility I trained at when I was 13 years old. I've got kids coming up to me. Are you going to play for the Jays this year? I'm on the street. Same thing. I'm really saddened that I wasn't able to make it happen. That I wasn't able to arrive and perform at the Rogers Center in a Blue Jays uniform, representing the city that I grew up in, the country that I grew up in, and my people. And I'm saddened by that. But how am I going to show up and make it? This isn't my organization. So how can I show up and make it my day, my moment? Here's an at bat. Here's a game. Here's a stretch of time. To me, it's disrespectful to the game. I also think it's disrespectful to the paying fans that want to see a high-end performance, and I would have given them an awful performance. So, truly, I can say that I tried my very best, and I just came up short. And I've had 22 years of not coming up short, so, I guess I'm due. So.
When did you make the final decision?
It was like a couple nights ago. I went over I had a lunch with my family, my mom and brothers and niece and nephew, and I was like, wow, this feels good. Like I've been I don't want to say isolated, I'm not going to be dramatic here, but I've been in a hotel room for 4 or 5 months with the ankle injury, with the minor league level stops, and I can exchange the time alone for good performance, but I wasn't performing well enough to be able to make that transaction. And so, I was asked to pinch hit today. Donnie Murphy, the bench coach, says, would you like to pinch hit? And I said, I'm available, but not really. And how are you gonna represent this sport? The fans come to watch hunger and aggression. They come to watch people playing at their very, very best, not passing on professional at bats. That's enough. So that's not the reason, the moment. I've had many moments over the past several bit, but I would say the poor performance over the last few weeks, the lack of improvement, and you just get, when you're older, it's just, the game is so unforgiving. Every day, day game, night game, day game, travel. I have 8-hour bus ride, 6-hour bus ride, and then obviously when you're here, the flying and the late nights and the late arrivals. So, and again, it's a trade I'm willing to make as long as I give the fans the goods. And I was not giving the Buffalo fans any satisfying moments, and I certainly wouldn't have given any of the fans any satisfying moments that I think wouldn't have been anything but selfish.
Have you given?
No, I'm not.
Won't be driving a school bus anytime soon.
I'm not thinking about. I probably should think about what's next, but I'd like to go for a walk in the morning, like wake up at early, like at 7 or 8 o'clock. Go to the library, read for a bit, maybe take a yoga class. Really, I have no plans yet. So I start school in October, though. I've been doing school for a while, but I continue school in October. So that's the only thing online. Maybe some traveling. We'll see.
What's the school? What's the classes?
I go to Arizona State online, Spanish major. So.
Did you say you had car trouble?
Yeah, my car ran out of juice.
Electric car?
You're going to make this political if I answer that question. That's a political question.
I know it's only been a few hours since you actually retired, but what's the feeling now compared to like this time 48 hours ago?
Again, the only I'm regretful and sad I didn't get to play in front of the Toronto fans. I say that sincerely. Like the feeling of playing in front of the fans here would have meant a lot to a lot of people that I'm close to. But I've taken pride in playing well. I want to play well, and I wasn't doing that, and so I don't think I would have given them a satisfying experience. So, yeah.
Do you just at least feel kind of glad that you tried this year? I know you said that
Yes.
a little bit, but it's like you don't have to look back and think, oh,
Yes.
did I have one more year in me or something?
I can't tell you. I'm not going to be. There's so many people encountering many more challenging things, of course. But it was hard. I was in a hotel room for about 127 days. My ankle was injured. I had my feet up all the time because I couldn't go for a walk. I couldn't be out. I'd be out on my feet. Rehab table for the 4 months in a row, trying to get back. And the thing that was most difficult was every night I'd go home and watch the Jays games. And I was trying to get to know the team. And there was a point at about the 3-month mark where I wasn't recovering well enough I couldn't run, I couldn't swing, and I wasn't jumping well. I wasn't doing anything that you need to be at this game speed. And I had to stop watching the Jays games because it hurt so much, because I wanted to so desperately be a part of this team. How can I fit in with the guys? How can I compliment so-and-so? How can I help in any sort of way? And it just took so long to recover that I found that challenging. And I did the very best I could with my rehab. I did the best I could in my game competition, Dunedin, Buffalo. No griping, no complaining. I was really proud of that. But I just was not good enough, and that's the end of it. I'm a big fan of the UFC, and I watch fighters that retire at the right time and stay too long, and I hear the commentary from the commentary crowd, and I just think, I want to make sure I retire at the right time. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I retired too late. But yeah. So
if they talk to you and want, would you go back to Cincinnati at some point this year? Maybe say hi to people, fans, whatever, if they wanted to do something.
I just retired today. I think it was my way of acknowledging my relationship with the baseball community, Major League Baseball fans, and showing how thankful. I mean, this game's changed my life. I've become a man in this sport. I've built so many bonds, and my character's changed, and I'm just so thankful to have had the opportunity, because I'm a middle-class kid from Mimico, Ontario, and I remember coming downtown on my bicycle to work with my dad at the yacht club across on one of the islands, taking the TTC to and from every day with the hopes and dreams. Ironically, I saw Scott Thorman today, who works with the Kansas City Royals. He was the guy as a high schooler that was a first-round pick, and I dreamed of being him. He signed for some money. He was a first-round pick. He was an Atlanta Brave. He was trending in the professional direction, and I thought, I want to be him. And on my last day of my career, the guy I wanted to be. And so, I am so humbled by where this game has taken me. I've done my part, of course, but the majority of it I've been carried by the sport, the fans, the staff, everyone involved. I've learned how to be a better person because of the media. Just so many different reasons, ways that the game has changed me as an individual.
So sorry.
Yes, sir.
You've had a number of sort of big moments here in Toronto over the years. Think back to the World Baseball Classic in '09. You returned from the IL here in '09. Some other big games.
Yeah.
So when you think back to some of your times here in Toronto as a professional player, what will you look to or remember?
I loved that I was able to perform well in front of my city, and that when you come home, you feel a great deal of pressure, and your buddies and your family kind of lightly needle you if you fall flat on your face. And whether when I played for Canada, I was able to play well on this stage, which was one of my favorite games in my entire professional career, or coming here and representing the Reds and being able to perform well on a consistent basis. Like I'm able to say, I killed it at home. Like I was able to perform really, really well, and that's a source of pride for me. So yeah, I didn't get to wear the uniform here, but at least my family and my friends and my community got to see me at my very best.
Joey, when you said
Hi,
nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Sorry I was late to this.
No, it's okay. I was just droning on.
Okay. But you said, maybe you retired a little too late. Is there anything in you thinking that maybe you retired a little too early, that having been hurt each of the last 2-3 years, that maybe a healthy winter and a healthy spring might have left something to put out there?
I thought about that on the ride here, and I don't see that happening. I think I'm done. It was really hard. Not in a I can't face the. It was just hard failing. You get the immediate feedback from the fans, and there's times when there are some big moments in Buffalo that I heard groans after outs. So when I was playing for Louisville last year, groans or dissatisfaction after outs in big situations. This game's faster. I'm not fast. This game is about more dynamic defense. The game has changed over the course of the back maybe quarter of my career. I'm slower. I don't, and the one thing that I could attempt to do is, perform offensively, and I've been awful especially for my position. So at some point the writing's on the wall, and I'm good.
Joey, you've always been such an analytical player.
You'd be surprised. Not at all. It's a lot of feel and a lot of body.
But I'd imagine that there was part of you that, or maybe not, but was your brain sort of able to still think the game, and maybe your body not able to respond?
It's a physical game, 100%. It doesn't matter how you think you can outwit someone. You have to be physical. This game there's no chess in this game whatsoever. This is a heavyweight fight. This is I can't think of an analogy, but there's no tactics involved, limited tactics involved, and physical trumps everything. And physical's not there for me.
That dinner 2 nights ago, was that in Buffalo?
Sorry?
That dinner with your family 2 nights ago, was that in Buffalo?
It was close to Niagara Falls.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in here.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to get the timeline right. When you were asked if you were able to pinch hit, was that today?
That was this morning, and we planned on me not playing.
Okay.
And I told them, hey, if you need me, I'll pinch hit.
Yeah.
I'm on the roster, so I have a obligation. So
but
it was just more of like, do you want? It's available. We can give it to one of our guys, or do you want it? And my answer was, basically like there's other guys that. It's like I've always been on the attack. Always been on the attack. I wanted everything. I was pissed almost all the time my entire career if I ever got pinch hit for or somebody started in front of me. That's the chip that was on my shoulder basically my whole career, and to be able to be like, it's too passive for this sport. So
How much did you think about perhaps playing in the Jays uniform against the Reds?
No, that wasn't a priority. The only thing, once I put the Jays uniform on, it was about the city, it was about the fan base, and I'm not a Blue Jay. I'm not going to be. There's no Toronto Blue Jays memories with me, so I wanted to be able to give that, and it just wasn't there.